What's going on, guys? Vitaly Laletin against Levan Saginashvili. This is an interesting match. Look, I was there in 2019 when they faced last at the PAL Top 8 Finals. I'd never witnessed a match like this before. And I remember Levan entering the stage that day. I'd met Levan only 3-4 days earlier at Munich airport. And I remember he was in the quiet, softly spoken version of Levan at that point. When he came out of the tunnel at the Zloty finals, which was kind of the stage that was hosting that top eight, it was a very different Levan. The traps were up, the shoulders were back, and it was kind of like the earth was shaking as he came out. He won that day, and that was really the commencement to when his run of dominance really began. It was in that PAL's top 8 series that it really started to take place. Now, at the time, Vitaly Laletin, he looked pretty good. Like, he took height, he took a little bit of pronation, but Levan's back pressure, Levan's bicep strength, Levan's wrist ultimately wasn't cracked enough. Now, Vitaly Laletin has evolved since then. Yes, Levan has evolved since then. That's the thing. We often make opinions in arm wrestling based on kind of an assumption that the guy that we're going for, or the guy that is the underdog, or the guy that's trying to overcome the other one, we kind of make this incorrect assumption that they're the only one progressing. Now, obviously, the reality is that Levan has progressed a lot as well. But if we just talk about the progression of Vitaly Laletin since that time, but back then he was ice road trucker extraordinaire, driving thousands of kilometers through the Russian Arctic. And he trained, but not as much as he is now. He's now the owner of the business instead of being just one of the drivers. He's now the owner of the business, and he's declared it gives him a much more full-time approach to training. And you can see that on the table. You can see the way that he has competed recently. He has what appears to be side pressure in a significantly increased fashion. Now, the reason this is so crucial is he's one of the few arm wrestlers that has the leverage over Levan, one of the few arm wrestlers that has the ability to actually crack the wrist of Levan. When I say crack the wrist, I'm talking that sort of quarter turn, like just a little crack of the wrist that Levan has. Levan still keeps his back pressure on, but last time, and this is very similar to what happened with Devon in round 1 against Levan, was they hold center for 3-4 seconds, but they're unable to exert any energy into side pressure because they're spending everything they've got on just cracking the wrist. Now, it's a big if Vitaly Laletin can crack that wrist to the same degree that he did last time, there is evidence to suggest that he has significantly more side pressure than he did back in 2019. Now, does this mean he gets a victory? I don't know. I've never seen Vitaly Laletin have to really tightly top roll and transition into a press. I have no idea if he even has that in his game. I've seen him top roll with flash presses. I've seen him have long battles and grueling wars like he did against Dave Chafee at King of the Table, and end in all sorts of different positions. But I think that if he's going to win this match, he's going to have to stay insanely tight. He's going to have to crack the wrist of Levan. He's going to have to not only crack the wrist, but he's going to have to punch through, crack the wrist, then slightly rise, slightly supinate, and then get all of his frame involved in side pressure. He can't use his muscles. He can't rely on the contractile tissue, that actual squeeze of the muscles. That will not be enough. He has to lock his joints up. Now, we're talking about shoulder joint, elbow joint, wrist joint, pronated. Everything needs to lock up, and then he uses twisting side pressure, rising side pressure, supinating side pressure in order to lock down center. If he loses center, it's over. It's good night. Levan's still the king. Now, we say all this, and look, reality is Levan's probably going to stomp him, like he stomps everyone, because Levan's the man. Levan's the king of the world at the moment with arm wrestling, and he has been progressing as well. So I can't sit here and say that we've got a new Latin and we haven't got a new Levan. Would be unfair. But we all, well, at least I, like to dream about Levan losing. Sorry, Levan. I love you, Levan. But it's fun to try to work out who on earth can beat Levan, if anyone ever can. I don't know. Maybe you're one of those people who's the exact opposite. Maybe you're one of those people who just says, I want Levan to never lose. And look, to be honest, if that happens, that's a pretty darn cool result as well, because a champion that's ultra dominant is just as good a story. But for me, I like the puzzle. I like the puzzle of trying to work out how on earth you beat Levan. And Vitaly Laletin, let's admit it, he is one of the guys that has a decent shot at it. So, Vitaly Laletin, Levan Saginashvili, it's happening in 2025. Let me know your thoughts.